So his name is Leon. He's going to be just like over there. And then when we do our share, he'll come and sit with us and yeah, all right, shall we?
Yeah, thanks so much for coming, Leon. Yeah. Yeah, of course.
All right.
Yeah.
Want to get started?
Yep, let's get started.
Okay, so should we walk through the whole layout or just do the intro first and then?
Yeah, let's do the layout and then we can do the intro. I think that's a good idea.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So essentially what we're going to be doing as far as the order of the event, the experience, we will give an introduction to ourselves and what we're hoping to accomplish with this series. And once we finish with the introduction, we will lead you through a guided meditation. The guided meditation will help ground you. It'll help kind of clear your energy. It'll help create protection around all of us individually as well as a group. And then we will invite in connection with our ancestors, and we'll explain a little bit more later what we mean by ancestor. And so there'll be time to be guided into this, to the connection with ancestors. There'll be moments of silence where you can listen in, see what comes through. We will bring you back from the meditation, and there will be a chance for us to share our experiences, any concerns, because sometimes messages may come through not just for ourselves individually, but someone in the group may learn something from what you've received. Anything you want to add to that run of?
The thing that it just made me think of was if you're the type of person who, if a thought comes through, you want to be able to jot it down quickly. If you want to grab a pen and paper or anything to have by your side during the meditation, that can sometimes be nice to have. Or, you can even just use your phone if you want to be able to do that. But otherwise, turn off your notifications and really just settle in and enjoy this next 50 minutes or so.
Yeah, perfect.
So I'm going to start the introduction of this craft that we're creating. Ancestral healing is a big concept that a lot of people are talking about and coming into from many different angles, many different lived experiences, many different spiritual practices or non-spiritual practices. It's complicated, it's vast, and we're bringing our experiences and our teachers together in this novel, what we call braided practice, this craft of being able to use what we're calling ancestral poetics to cultivate relationships with our ancestors in a group environment. And that's what we think is the most, we've just kind of stumbled across this through all of our practices together.
Right.
And we'll each tell you a little bit more about our individual journeys that brought us there and why we think that this is a very optimal practice for many different types of people to be able to engage in. But I'll just start by saying first and foremost that it's not an accident that we chose January 20th as the first of this year-long series where we're going to be doing this every month for a whole year. The general consensus out there is that the vibes are not good and people are alienated and people are scared, and you don't have to be into astrology to understand that something's not really functioning optimally in the society that we've created for ourselves thus far. And we are not interested in passively sitting by and just saying that we can't do anything about that. So this is a kind of life-sustaining practice for us in our lives that are right here, right now, but it's also an attempt to reach back into our collective past and offer apology and healing and atonement to our ancestral lines that we've been divorced from in various violent ways, and to project that healing to the future, to offer up the effort and the commitment to our descendants that we tried something that we didn't just sit by and wander the resources of the planet, the spirit and energy of Gaia, the individual souls that have come to this planet to live out their dreams and their lives, that we committed to trying something and believing that it was possible to elevate, even if it's only by 1 degree, to elevate our collective consciousness and what's possible for life on this planet. So you being present in the space right now is such a huge gift to us in this time, and it's also a huge gift to everyone who's come before you, and you're creating a gift that will reverberate throughout the future and allow us, if all goes according to our effort and our intention, allow us to become the future ancestors that our descendants can look back on and say, thank you, thank you, thank you for daring to believe that something better was possible.
Yeah, I think it's really important for us to not just turn inward. It's easy for us in these times to feel frustrated, anxious, scared, any number of emotions that are difficult. We all have tools that we can call upon to assist us in that. We can individually meditate, we can pray, we can exercise, we can do any number of things, and those are all still available. But in this setting, by bringing people within a shared experience to do this all together, it amplifies the benefit. And we're not just amplifying this benefit by coming together as a group, but by reaching back towards our ancestors and then sending it down further towards our descendants. We're hitting multiple dimensions, so to speak, and assisting all of us through this. And this isn't something that only we can lead. You can take away from this whatever you'd like to take for your own individual practice, for your family, for your friends. We're not intending to gatekeep anything. This is something we will do every month as a reminder and to expose more people, but you can call upon this and do this anytime you want. And I think hopefully this will go further in helping you all and helping anyone else that you come across, more than just doing individual one-on-one work.
Did you want to share specifically about how your practice as a medium led you to believe that this is the format?
Yeah, so my background into this work, into working with ancestors, comes from being a spiritual medium where I connect with and communicate with people who are deceased. And normally I'm sitting in front of a computer screen working with an individual, or we're in person with just one person, and I'm speaking to their ancestors and bringing through messages and support and guidance. And it is incredibly powerful. It's very healing, and that's all well and good. But again, in my experience, whether training as a medium where multiple mediums are working together, or I'm working with a group of people, it's just more powerful. I mean, you don't want to go see a movie or a concert by yourself. The shared experience of it as humans just amplifies it and makes it more meaningful. So that's where I'm coming into this from, is wanting to create that group shared experience, and also to show you don't need a medium. All of us are descended from people who revered, celebrated, communicated with their ancestors. Through colonialism, industrialization, war, displacement, oppression, many of us are completely divorced from those traditions. But they are there, and they're not there just for people who have special training, who have quote unquote special abilities. This is something that we all can access. And that's why I'm wanting to do it in this format versus continuing just to work with individuals.
Thank you.
And then how about you? I know you've come to this from a different perspective and it's aligned really well, but you should speak on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's always been my dream to create artwork that can heal and that can be used as a tool. And anyone who knows my work through my company Ars Poetica and writing poetry for individuals, that's been great. It's so similar to one-on-one experiences that shift people's consciousness and open up what's possible for them. And I just believe that we owe it to ourselves to create something that's a tool that we can all use and that can change things even more. Like, I've seen the way that a single poem can change the course of someone's ability to feel their feelings. And I want that so much more. I realize the more that I do it, the more I see how much more is needed. That, like that quote of, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. It's like the more that I see one person healing 1% with one poem, I'm like, oh my God, like we need way more of this medicine out there. So through the course of over a year of practice, we've come up with this really simple meditation craft that we're now going to share with you. And it's probably going to feel really good. And I can't wait to share it with you.
And before we start, just a couple of words about what we mean by ancestors. So, of course, the classic idea of an ancestor is someone you're related to who has passed on, but we use a broader definition of ancestor. This could be anyone known to you, whether you actually knew them in real life, maybe you never met them, but there's someone you looked up to who've passed on. Depending on your religious or spiritual belief, you could be connecting with a saint or a deity, the elemental forces of earth, animals, plants, any number of things that you identify with on a spiritual level that makes you feel supported, that makes you feel empowered. All of those are welcome here today. And we also will be setting an intention. We, in facilitating the ritual, are going to be creating a safe container that we're only inviting in those well and healthy ancestors, those that want to support us. You'll be asked, you can invite in specific ancestors, or you could choose just to see what comes up naturally during the meditation. But if at any point you sense the presence of something that's unwelcome, you just tell them to leave. But we're hopeful and confident that with the container we're creating and through the meditation, that only those healthy, loving entities will be present with us today.
And just in case anyone does have any concerns about unhelpful or unhealed energies, I'll just speak from my personal experience, because Brent has been teaching me about this a lot and we've done a ton of these practices together. I have had a couple experiences where some stuff came up that wasn't welcome, and for me, I'm a very visual person. It's an image of a face that just doesn't look quite right, and you just literally say, like, no thank you. And you can even kind of, you're in control. This is really your imagination and the power of your thought first and foremost, and then it evolves from there. So it can be just a little uncomfortable if that does come up, but just remember, you're in control completely of what your experience is, and they're just basically a mirage. So shall we?
Yep, I think we're ready. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out just by getting comfortable and grounded. So at this moment, if you want to lie down, you can turn your camera off, anything just to get your body settled and comfortable. I will have my eyes closed throughout. Feel free to go ahead now and close your eyes. The first thing we want to do is to take a couple of long, slow, deep breaths to release any tension or stress that we're bringing in with us today. So take a slow inhale now.
Remember that your lungs expand in multiple directions. So let your diaphragm drop so that you can breathe into your belly. Let your chest expand forward. Let your back expand. And then also allow the air to fill up into your clavicles as well. Really take a nice deep breath, and you can even hold it at the top for just a moment before you release. Breathe again.
Having released the tension that we held in our bodies, letting it go through our breath. Feel the points of contact between your body and the surfaces below. Let your feet Rest even more comfortably into the ground. Relax your shoulders. Note any tension in your body, and then gently release and loosen it. Know that we are being held by the gravitational pull of Earth. Imagine roots growing from the bottom of your feet. They slowly work their way downward, piercing the soil, burrowing deeper and deeper into Earth. Those roots support and enhance the gravitational pull of Earth, holding us into place, allowing us to feel secure and safe. The magnetic pull of Earth has an energetic frequency. It's slow and deep. It comes up through the roots. It envelops our bodies. It embraces us, wraps us up, similar to a weighted blanket. Let Earth hold and care for us.
And what if Earth is actually more than just a beautiful sphere that we're lucky enough to be held by? What if there's actually a consciousness and a loving care and a collective energy that's supporting us? And what if that is called Gaia? What if all these life forms and all of this delicious soil and water and plant life and beautiful diverse species are all sharing a chorus of Gaia?
In recognizing this interconnectedness as life forms of Gaia, we connect now to the higher frequency, to the spirit realm. You can envision a portal opening above your head. And pouring down through that portal is brilliant golden light, where all entities, ancestors, and guides included can make themselves known to us. These can be ancestors, guides, elemental forces, all those that are well, healthy, and loving. And where the grounding, comforting energy of Earth meets the higher frequency of the spirit realm is at our heart centers. It is in our hearts that we integrate these two streams of energy. We are in these human bodies having physical, incarnate experiences. 1 foot in this realm and 1 connected to the spirit realm. Now that we are integrated in place, connected both to Gaia and the spirit realm, let us clear our fields. We've all entered today with any number of stresses and anxieties, places of pain in our physical bodies. We will ask both Gaia and our supportive spirits to take those away. Envision them all leaving your body, leaving the space around you, and being transmuted into light. Washed away in the waters of Gaia. Now that we've cleared our field, we will place a layer of protection around us individually. You can imagine a golden sphere starting above your head and slowly enveloping you as if you're encased in a golden egg. Nothing negative or dense or troublesome can reach you through the shield. Only those frequencies that are loving and light can find their way through. And all of us are capable of emanating from within ourselves loving and light frequencies. We can project them beyond the boundaries of the shield.
We are now cleared, cleansed, and protected.
We are also in this moment sharing a collective space. There are those of us in this same room, but we are all sharing an etheric container by meeting together at this time with this shared intention. And we also want to clear and cleanse our shared space. Let us, each of us, acknowledge in our mind's eye the presence of one another, where we can collectively assist each other in clearing away anything that we've brought in individually. We are here together for every one of us. And let us imagine our collective pain, our collective anxiety floating away, transmuting into light, and being washed away in the waters of Gaia. And like we created a protective layer around our individual fields, we too will create a protective layer around our shared space. Let us, each of us, imagine this golden egg forming around all of us as a group. It has the same properties as our individual protective shields. Only that which is loving and helpful and light can pass through. Nothing negative or dense or troublesome can reach us. Imagine at your heart center, there is a growing green orb. Picture this orb growing brighter and expanding, representing the love you have for yourself, the love we have for one another, the love we have for everyone in our life and for Gaia herself. Watch this light expand beyond the bounds of our bodies, past our individual protective shields, filling our collective shared space and projecting outward toward the rest of the world.
Now we are cleared, cleansed, protected, loved, and unified all together now.
It is now an appropriate time for us to invite in our ancestors. They've been out there all this time, and we've created the container to make them feel as welcome and as loved as they can possibly be. You can invite in someone specifically known to you. It can be someone that you don't know. You can be open to just whatever can come through.
Lisa says on a night like this, be so nice if you give me.
Ancestors, angels, ascended teachers, greetings. Bless this encounter totally unique in this moment, precious in its rarity. We come empty-handed, ready to receive what you offer. In the divine dream of the universe, we do not choose our identity, but we do choose to rise to the roles we are called to play. Our gifts, our desires, our dreams, all are placed at the altar of collective healing. Thank you. We are ready.
As our ancestors enter the space, before interacting with them, just take a moment to feel their presence. Some of them may have been waiting for a long time for someone here on earth to remember them and to connect with them in this way. You may see images, you may become aware of words and messages. If you see nothing or hear nothing, you can imagine an ancestor that you would love to be present. You can converse with them. What would you want them to hear from you? What would you want them to say to you? And we ask them now to allow their presence to be felt.
Greetings, ancestor. Thank you for meeting me in this sacred space. Forgive me for any miscommunication. My highest intent is to honor you and hear you, and fulfill our lineage's dreams and desires, leaving our line more healed, cleared, and integrated than before. Our wills are united throughout time, space, and dimension. You live on through me, as I will live on in those who remember and honor me.
We will maintain silence for some time as we sit with our ancestors.
one wound healed in one is many wounds healed in many. The wounded healer nurses the infinite back to health. We acknowledge and hold each other's wounds, fears, challenges, and pain, fueled by the knowing that all healing is done in community, and our community spans far beyond our comprehension. Our collective grief alchemizes into medicine. Our collective effort builds our creative capacity, and our heart's expansion allows us to hold the infinite unknown.
With that invocation, we invite now our ancestors, the collective group present here for all of us, to harmonize their energies, to bring healing to all of us, not only individually, but as a group, to receive their support and guidance for whatever lies ahead.
Be receptive at this time to any advice or specific direction you may perceive from any ancestral resource. They may be able to see something that we cannot currently see because of our position, and they have a vantage point that could be highly strategic and helpful to us.
It is time now for us to begin to return to our physical space, but first, let us thank our ancestors for joining us and for lending their support and love today.
Ancestors, angels, ascended teachers, gratitude. Thank you for guiding us safely through the upward spiral of time, reaching as far backward and forward as life itself. Our work is play. Our love is pure. Our desires are divinely inspired. Let the highest common good be fulfilled by our effort, and show us how to follow the way with ever more devotion and clarity. We surrender ourselves in service to love, with mercy for all whom we meet on the path.
As we now return to the space, take your time to gently bring awareness to your body and wiggle your fingers and toes. Bring whatever movement you need. And when you are ready, you may open your eyes.
So now we have a little bit of time set aside for anyone who wants to share to be able to do so. And there's no obligation to do so. We would love to hear what your experience was like, one way or the other. But in a group setting, it can be really cool, especially if you perceive something that you're not sure what it means. We can help kind of workshop it together. And if you want, you can come be on screen so you can see everyone.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, feel free to unmute, share anything you'd like. You can kick it off if you want.
Me or Leon?
Either one.
Yeah.
Well, I'll kick it off. It's cool. I think I think I was thinking about some people specifically. I've got this this mentor. This guy, his name was Charlie, and him and his wife. Maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, they died in a plane crash. So it's like very important from like a relationship standpoint. Like really kind of probably put me on like the path I'm on here today. And I don't know, I guess like I was kind of leaning back thinking that I could feel like a weight in my hand, which when I think about, they were like a wonderful couple. And I think about both of them, like holding my hand, like kind of talking to me. I was reminded to like nurture like older friendships, like to reach out, because I just moved to a different town, so to remember to like stay in touch with like people from your past, things like that. That was like kind of what kept like circling in my head, and I had some thoughts about like even after I leave here, like a couple like text messages I need to send. So yeah, that's it.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you for sharing.
No
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
Happy to.
Yeah, that's something that we didn't really mention in the leading in. Like you had a physical sensation. We mentioned like you can see things or perceive words or thoughts, but yeah, there are somatic experiences that we can have during the ritual as well. And so that was a good thing to be attuned to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to share from the Zoom?
I can share.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
I felt kind of like drawn to move around a little bit. So at one point I was kind of like laying on the floor and then got up, and there were like 5 different people's names I wrote down that I was thinking of, and none of them came specifically. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah. Turning
Okay.
off.
I didn't have like a specific engagement with somebody or like a specific presence, but I saw a lot of colors shifting throughout the time, and kind of evolving from one to the other. And then right at the end, as we were kind of finishing, the only real clear image I got was like this big pink cobra with like a yellow mouth open and red eyes. And it didn't seem dangerous, but it was like very powerful. So I don't know what it means, but
What were the names that you wrote down?
my great aunt, one of my friends who passed away last year, and then 3 like artists, teachers that I haven't met personally, but I feel connected to.
Were any of the colors you saw before the cobra was seen any more prominent than others?
Yellow was pretty strong throughout the experience. Yeah.
Yeah, which could suggest to me like that's the place of, that's your associated with your third chakra, your place of confidence, your gut instinct, all of those. But of course, the color yellow can have a meaning personal to you as well. The pink and the cobra, that's of love. I mean, that's a color of love, classically so.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I also get the vibe that the color pink can mean like a radical refusal to give in to I don't know, like hardening, calcifying, Like it's like this very radically optimistic color to see, especially right now. It's like the expansion and power of the divine feminine.
I love that.
Anyone else want to share?
I can share. I've connected with an aunt of mine some years ago. So she's actually the person I was named after. She died in childbirth. And she wasn't the first person that came to me right now. It was actually my grandfather, which I've kind of shared this space with them in other ways, and it's always very similar. Like we're in a field, there's like flowers and grass, and um yeah, I'm always getting words of encouragement and reminded of my strength. I mean, with them, with those two specifically, there's a lot of intergenerational trauma that I'm working through in relationships that I feel like have really come out. And I feel it very, like I was crying, I was like sobbing during meditation. Yeah, and then I had an who passed very recently that I've been thinking about a lot, and she was kind of in that space as well. But yeah, so thank you for giving me this opportunity to connect with them again and like give me the reminders that I've needed today. So I appreciate the space.
And I think with that, that's a good example of when you are open to many ancestors coming through, that they support not just you, but one another. And they may not be related, clearly. These could be from other sides of the family. It can be a friend, but just to know that there's a conduit back into this realm, like we are the connecting point for our ancestors. We think of them as being all powerful and they can do whatever they want, but because they incarnated here, this is the place of connection. And so by you opening up that space for them, they could support one another and feel more free to come through. And so hopefully coming out of this today, it provides you another means of continuing to connect with them. And so you've done them a great benefit as well, not just for yourself. That's part of the idea of this too.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Tigris or Jessica, did you want to get a chance to share anything? No pressure. I just want to make sure you feel welcome.
Sure, I'll share. First off, thank you all so much. I love having an intentional time set aside to really sit down and meditate. A lot of my meditations usually come from movement, but I think that there should be a balance between those things. So when I do meditate or when I am in flow, I see a lot of visuals. I was picking up on a lot of colors, and I'm not sure if it was kind of, well, it felt like a chat room of everyone's aura and energies in one. So I got like somebody's very purple, someone was like a little orange. I immediately, when I got here, got a lot of green or felt green, synesthesia, which I think is more common than we think, where our senses kind of cross, where we feel smells and we hear sound, or yeah, hear sounds, but or like taste sound, you know. So I felt green when I first entered, which makes me feel like you all had already just cultivated a space of like heart and care and nurturing, very heart-centered. And it just grew and grew, very tingly right here in the crown, which felt really good the more that we were meditating and connecting to our ancestors. And because I connect with mine fairly often, I feel I wanted to welcome in something new. So I was just like, you know, whoever wants to come through, whatever wants to come through, let me see it. And what do I need to know? And I saw a cross, which is not typical for me. I've kind of strayed away from Christianity specifically over my life, but I've actually been drawn and have even welcomed into my home Christian iconography and visuals for the past like really week. Like it's been coming through. So I found that very interesting. Also, my cat Opal came through, and when she stepped in, I saw a little blue orb. So now I know that my cat's more light blue. She's very cute. But yeah, I took that as maybe a sign or a message to welcome in, maybe not Christianity specifically, but maybe so. I took home a painting of which I had to look up because I didn't even know, but I recognized like the picture of the Virgin Mary, or in Mexico it's Guadalupe. I found that in a thrift store randomly with Kira, funny enough, and took it home because I felt like I needed it. So this is all coming together in a very interesting way for me. So thank you, whatever ancestor let that through. I needed to see it.
It doesn't surprise me, actually. I think the idea that we have to destroy and repudiate everything that came before us in order to move forward, I think is actually sort of the opposite of what we might be best suited to do, which would be to compost and recycle and keep the parts that have real power in them still, you know. Uh, I mean, and La Virgen de Guadalupe is like such an incredibly inspiring reinterpretation of the Virgin Mary, much more empowered kind of representation of her beauty.
Yeah. I'm excited to welcome her in a little bit more.
All right, well, we commit to keeping this to about an hour exactly, so we are like perfectly coming to time. If anyone has anything else that they want to share with us one-on-one, or any questions, anything, whether it's something difficult that came up or something beautiful or just something that you're not sure about, please feel free to reach out to us directly. And we will be doing this every month, the same day, the same time, every month for the entire year. So you're welcome to come back. Bring friends if you feel like it, spread it around. We definitely envision this being something that a lot of people could benefit from. And hopefully you also now feel that it's something that's accessible to folks at any sort of level of experience and spiritual practice and that kind of thing. Anything that you want to say to close this out?
No, I think that covers it. I think the music, our track ran out.
Yes.
It wasn't a sign from Spirit. Maybe it was. I'll have to see
Well,
what song that was.
The
But
next
the
song
next track.
was the Velvet Underground, Lisa Says.
Oh, well, the name of this track was Lisa One.
Exactly.
Bob did it, so that's pretty, yeah.
Well, we should just shout out who did the track for us. That's a custom track that was created for us by Bob Boylan. And we love to bring a little bit of like the sound healing energy into the practice. So thank you to Bob for that. And yeah, I just really, really hope that this fuels you up for a more expansive and generative pathway forward in each of your individual paths and our collective paths. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
No, very welcome. No, I'm glad you're here. Thank y'all for having me.
Peace and blessings to you all.
Thank you. This is beautiful. Bye.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.